Hello and welcome to the show. Now, when it comes to the Hot Wheels Showdown, we have seen that grip is very, very important indeed. However, straight line speed can be helpful as well. The Dodge Dart that went out last time set an astonishingly quick time in a car that, let's face it, is nowhere near as good through the corners as the likes of the Honda NSX. So there is definitely a happy medium to try and find. The Eclipse that currently leads the series is certainly somewhere around that. But yeah, trying to look through cars and ponder what just might work for this. And, well, this BMW M3 has sprung to mind. It can have a wide body kit on it, and that'll be good for getting some decent sized tyres. Big tyres, we can get some good grip, hopefully, and with any luck, we'll be able to get a decent amount of power out of the car. I'm not sure it's going to be quite as much as the Eclipse, but it might be a better handling car than the Mitsubishi, so we will have to wait and see, really. Of course, sticking it on race tyres is always going to jump the PI up. It's always actually at the top of A-class with that. However, that is a compound that we are running, and, well, we need the grip. No point bothering actually with tyre width just yet, because we have a Liberty Bunny kit, I think, to put on it. Is it? Yes, it is. Liberty Bunny body kit for our BMW. It's not the most extreme of the body kits, that is for sure. However, it does give us the ability to stick on much larger tyres, which is very, very good indeed. For example, we got two 7.5s at the front. Not bad. I'm expecting sort of 3.45s or something up towards that at the rear. 3.05s. Okay, not quite the biggest tyres in the game, but 3.05s are still a good tyre width to be dealing with all of the power. And there we go. That's kind of the handling bit done. We will have a full-on Forza wing, of course. Oh, again, a downforce. Now, the downside of the wide body kit is you will lose the ability to have any sort of Forza aero on the front of the car, so we won't have the splitter at the front. However, I have done various tests a while ago, and the advantages that you gain from having bigger tyres far outweigh the disadvantage of losing that front splitter. So it is the better way to go. We are also going to be wanting some race brakes along with the race suspension. That will jump us up into S1 class. My fear perhaps now with this build slightly is that we are a little bit running out of PI. We are running out of PI at a slightly alarming rate. Now we can go for weight reduction. It's not adding, it's adding, what, 21 PI. It's not the biggest PI gain, and I think that weight reduction will come in handy around this course. We will also give it an upgraded gearbox, just so we can potentially change the gear ratios as and when needed. And then we throw power. We throw power at the BMW. I would expect the standard engine to get to the top of S1 class. I wouldn't expect necessarily to have to change this. Of course, it is still naturally aspirated. We can go and grab a turbocharger or supercharger if we so wish, which I think we probably will have to be doing here, just to sort of comfortably get it to the top. We will then grab, okay, if we don't have an option of a supercharger, we can just turbo the BMW. 548 horsepower so far. It may be down on power in comparison to that, to the Dart and to the Eclipse, amusingly, but then it has got massive tyres, and we would hope that it can carry more corner speed than them. Having said that, it's going to be down. It's not actually going to be down that much on power at all. I wasn't expecting. It's just kind of the PI's just not really changed now that we've got right up to the sharp end of things. 718 horsepower out of the M3. That sounds good to me. That sounds like a nice amount of power for us to have playing around with in this car. As I said, if this can carry the quarter speed, this could be a very, very fast vehicle overall. Could be quite leery. I don't expect it, though, to be. Well, the Japanese vehicles have certainly been leading the way when it comes to the Hot Wheels Showdown here. Can our M3 go faster? A 134.7 is the time that it needs to eclipse if it wants to go to the top of the table. And I have just 5 laps to try and do that. It may well be possible. It may well be possible in this car. That being said, there's not quite as much rear end grip as I was hoping through that first corner. That's a oh god, there wasn't much rear end grip. There was also not the front end grip either. Okay, we are not going to be flat out around these corners, that much is for sure, because the front end doesn't turn in, and then the back end lets go a little bit. Now, the cold tyres, of course, won't be helping matters there. I have no doubt they will improve. Oh, there is, yeah, not quite as much grip as, well, the likes of the NSX, the Porsche, and so on. Perhaps to be a little bit expected. I had hoped for a tad more. The straight line speed, though, is pretty damn rapid. That's 167, and that's kind of on a bad run as well. So it's faster than the Dart. I don't actually remember how quick the Eclipse was going into that corner. Yeah, that's some good straight line speed. We're definitely going to have the straight line speed. In fact, we might be as fast if we can get it all right out of the or across the boost pads and around the loop. We can probably be as fast, if not faster, than the Dart. Although that is a testament to just how quick the Dart was going. Oh, I might have forgotten to put it up into sixth gear. That being said, we actually get a very good run off the second boost pad to 212 miles an hour. We keep it almost above the 200 mile an hour mark. It's 225. Oh, big stop. Big stop into the final corner from the M3. Now, an opening lap, very, very similar time, in fact, to the Eclipse, if not a little bit faster. That bodes well for this car, 136.3. Now, as I said before, from a standstill, you have less of a disadvantage around this circuit because of how slow the final corner is. There is less of a gap between a standstill lap and a flying lap. That being said, though, a 36.3 is about one of the fastest laps we've seen from the get-go, and that's bear in mind the Eclipse has all-wheel drive to get it off the line, and the BMW does not. Okay, now the tyres have warmed up a little bit. We are better for grip. We're kind of a little bit more as I expected it, perhaps a tad more understeery in some places. It's okay, it's not quite like the Dart if you're trying to be aggressive with the power in that car, but still, it is a tad more on the understeery side. Now, do I want third gear out of here? I think we do. I think if we put it in second, we might just be right at the very, right at the very top of the power band. But I think we're just going to spin the wheels and just waste any of that extra power. I don't think we're sluggish out of that corner, certainly leaving it in third. Okay. Can we get everything right across this boost pad again? Putting up, having it in fifth and then instantly changing up to sixth after the pad seemed to work quite well for the speed off of it. We still got it good that time. That was 213 miles an hour launched. Can we keep it above 200? No, very similar to the Eclipse. Very similar, in fact, speeds around there to the Eclipse. Perhaps a smidge faster on the run down here. It's not very nice under braking, but we do get it slowed down for that final corner. The BMW will go to the top of the table. It's a huge lap time from the M3, a 133.7. That is a monster of a time. I'm not sure, actually, if I can go any quicker. Sometimes you do this with cars. Sometimes you will get a car, the first fly lap you do will be absolutely incredible, and then you cannot match it. I've done it a few times with various cars at various tracks in Forza 6, and it's just everything just clicks. Everything just clicks on that first flying lap. Of course, it needs to be a circuit that you know relatively well, and I'd like to think by now that I know this track pretty damn well. Having said that, we may go even quicker with the M3. 169 is about what we're achieving into this split section. I'm not sure we can get. Oh, this is the point where start. When okay, we've got a new leader. We've got a time in the bank. It's over a second quicker than everything. But if you're going to have to try to go faster than that time, is when you try, get on that throttle a little bit sooner. That's when the car's going to slide. Maybe you're going to try and brake that smidge later. And that's when you end up in a wall, or we try and get more speed around the loop. Come on, BMW. Oh, that was poor. That was poor indeed. I think we were having a bit of a bobble on the. We were kind of bouncing, or if you land too close to the secondary boost pads, your car is still kind of bouncing around in the air, and I think that is what doesn't give you the ideal pad, or the ideal launch off of there. We're not stopping into the final corner. That's what we say about trying that little bit, pushing that little bit more. I didn't think I was that late on the brakes, particularly down there. We got stopped in time, but only just. The downside with doing that is it does compromise your run a little bit onto the next lap, but there we go. Yeah, speaking of the boost pads, I've seen a few people saying that the boost pad on the right gives the cars a faster boost. That isn't the case. That is not the case on here. I think it is all to do with the way that I land before we hit them. That is what's making the difference. More because I've had cars hitting the right boost pad and having going no faster than ones landing in the middle and so on. I tend to aim for the middle just because it's safest. If I've twisted the car fractionally on the takeoff and I'm aiming for the left or the right, then you're going to be in a world of trouble. You're going to go soaring off the course. So I try to aim generally for the middle, and yeah, if we end up a little bit skew on takeoff, we can get away with it. That's the plan there. Because, yeah, as far as I've seen with this series, a couple of cars, yeah, have gone very fast by launching off the right one, but that is more to do with the vehicle, I think, being settled before it hits the pad than it is to do with anything else. And, well, these cars being quick around this course, and some of them just not being particularly suited to, well, this kind of thing. It's, this looks like it might be, nah, see, we landed arse first. You can see the dent in the rear bumper that we took there, and it was kind of just rocking the car back down, and that's not great for getting a launch. I'm not sure this is a particularly brilliant lap time anyway. We're going to have one more attempt at going faster. Let's see. No, that's terrible. That was a 35-something. It's not a good lap time. Well, this is the one that's going to... well, I say the one that's going to count. If we are going to find any time, it's going to have to be now. And I think it's going to be a difficult one to get much on that. Oh, a 33.7. I said, and I'd hope this might be a good compromise between grip and outright speed. It does seem to be the case. I feel like they could be a little bit better, though. I feel like there could be a car that can corner a little bit better than this and keep up with it in terms of straight line speed. I don't know what one it might be, but I feel like something could. Just the understeer that we get with this car is more than I would like, more than I would expect as well, and perhaps not quite ideal for some of these faster corners. It's also... I've said time and time again I prefer a car that's a little understeering. I don't want my car sliding around. This thing does still want to get the back end out at times, but it's just trying to be able to carry this corner speed that I'm not sure it's able to do as much with as some other cars. That being said, you know, a 33.7 is still a very, very good time. Can we get a good landing across the boost pads? It was a little bit better than we have seen, but still not quite the same that we got on that second flying lap. The touring car bobbling around a little bit too much on the landing of the jump. It's still a very, very quick run off there. Still 222 miles an hour. That goes to show just how fast the Dart was. Any quicker? No, it was, I think, about 34.0, 34.1 on that final lap. It was a good final lap, but couldn't quite match that that second time around, a 1:33.7 in the M3. We'll put it to the top of the table, and it is a big margin, or a big lead that the car has for now. A second clear of the Eclipse and the NSX, the Civic Type R, and the 911 GT2. A good car around here, undoubtedly. That straight line speed is very, very helpful when you can get up to 220 plus miles an hour and still carry as much quarter speed as this car does. Although it is more understeery and it's more understeery and more oversteery at times than you would perhaps ideally like. You're certainly not going to be able to go flat out through the corners. Admittedly, yeah, the car is going faster than the likes of the NSX. I do think there is a better compromise. I think there is a better... There is a car somewhere, whether we will find it, that will go quicker through the corners than this and maybe be able to match it in a straight line, maybe a couple of miles an hour slower in a straight line. But nevertheless, for now, that is a mighty, mighty gauntlet that the M3 has laid down. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.